Hello, hello, everybody. We are on the final film of our course. We're still in 1941, and we are finishing with the film Citizen Kane. Now, on many lists, like film critic lists, one of the more important lists is the AFI Top 100 Films. Citizen Kane is actually considered the greatest film of all time. Now, you're going to watch it and go, I don't understand. And part of that is because you're watching a film in 1941 or from 1941, and you're just not used to, you're used to what we watch today, and it's not going to move like that, right? So one of the reasons why it's considered such a classic, fantastic, amazing piece of cinema work is what was actually achieved for the time. The fact that they were able to achieve a film that looked like this and had this kind of dynamic storytelling kind of element going on in 1941 is what makes it such a classic piece of cinema history. Okay, this film, it's directed by Orson Welles, and the cinematographer is Greg Toland. This is the only time we've kind of recognized the cinematographer, and that's because the look of this film is so above and beyond what was being done technically in 1941 that it deserves to be recognized. This film won Oscars, Best Picture, Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Actor, and Best Cinematography. Greg Toland is considered one of the best cinematographers to ever live. The themes that we explore in this particular film are power, corruption, vanity, and innocence. The synopsis. When a reporter is assigned to decipher newspaper magnate Charles Foster Kane's dying words, his investigation gradually reveals the fascinating portrait of a complex man rose from obscurity to staggering heights. Though Kane's friends and colleagues, Jediah Leland and his mistress, Susan Alexander, shed fragments of light on Kane's life, the reporter fears he may never penetrate the mystery of Kane's last word, which is Rosebud. So things to look out for. It should be pretty easy to figure it out, but one of the most important things is to figure out what is Rosebud. And what does Rosebud represent? That's actually the most important thing. That goes to the theme and the underlying kind of storytelling that's going on in this particular movie. Why does Kane rebel against Walter Thatcher? How does the perspective of whom Kane is, how does it change depending on who's telling the story? Like, whoever's telling the story at the time, we're listening to different people's account of who Kane was. His kind of what he is and who he is kind of changes depending on who's telling that story. So kind of look for that, right? So you're going to see the story being told by Mr. Bernstein, Jediah Leland, and Susan Alexander Kane. So you'll see kind of how who he is as a man kind of changes depending on who's telling the story. And what does Kane initially say he wants to use the newspaper to do? Okay, that's super important. And how does that change along the way? With all Kane's great power, what is it that Kane can never do? How does Kane's vanity destroy his marriage to Susan Alexander Kane? And what does their snow globe symbolize? So those are all the kind of important elements to kind of think about and look at when you're watching this film. Again, this is a fantastic piece of cinema history. I know you're probably going to look at it and be like, wow, I don't understand. How is this the greatest of all time? But there is a lot going on when it comes to the storytelling and the photography of this particular film that make it pretty astounding for 1941. All right. So hopefully you enjoyed the class. I appreciate you kind of following along and doing all the work. I know it moved quickly. 8 weeks is fast. But again, I appreciate all your hard work. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I had fun kind of monitoring or kind of facilitating this class for you. Take care.